Hey guys, and welcome back again to another video tutorial on automate processes and making a basic website. So in this part 5 tutorial, what we're going to be doing is where we left off. So we got our navigation buttons to interact with the mouse and do a little animation. Now we're going to get our home page, instead of just popping on a new page, we're going to get the old page to fade out, remove itself, get the new page to load in, and then gradually fade in. And we can actually mix it a bit up as well. Once we get that sort of basic fading in and out working, we can change up the interactions. We can make it like slide out to the right and then slide in from the left, or come in from the bottom to the top, or pretty much whatever what we want. So let's get started with that. So let's plan out what we want to do first. So this NavClick function is where the entry point, you can sort of say, is where it's going to trigger what we want to do. So just after the whole function, the NavClick function, I'm just going to write a couple of comments. So this is the best way to plan something when you don't actually know what you're going to code. Well, you know what you want to code, but you don't know how you're going to go about it. You want to plan out each step methodically, step by step. So the first thing we want to do is when we click on our nav link, we want to fade out our old page. Okay, makes sense. We want to get rid of the old one. When our page is finished fading out, we want to remove the old page, and once that's done, we want to load in our new page, and once our page is loaded, we want to fade in our new page. So those are the 4 steps that we want to do. So at the moment, as soon as we click on a nav button, we're going to end up in this function here. So we don't want to load a page straight away, which is what we're doing here. We want to load, that's going to be in stage 3. So I'm just going to comment out all these loads. And at the end of the switch statement, this is where we want to fade out our old page. So I'm going to actually grab this comment and put it into here instead. So to fade out a page, we're going to use a tween once again. So I'm going to create a new tween here. I'm just going to call it var. Let's call it page transition, and we'll call it out because the page is going out, and we'll set up a tween object for that. It's going to be a new tween, and what we want to tween is the object that's actually holding all our pages. Oops. So we're going to tween our page holder clip. The property we want to tween in this case is going to be the alpha. We want to make it fade out. And let's use our function, our easing function as a regular one again. And we'll just say ease out. So what do we want the alpha to begin at? So we want it to start off at 100%, which is 1. And we want to finish up being completely invisible as 0. The duration we want it to take is going to be 1 second, and we will use seconds instead of frames. Cool, so that's going to fade our page out. But now, when our page is finished fading out, we want to react to that event and then do something, namely remove the old page. So let's set up a function that we want to go to afterwards. So I'll set up a private function called remove old page, and I'm not going to give it any properties for the moment, but we'll come back to that. So there's the function we want to go to once we finish our transition out. So just like with most other objects in Flash, we can listen for when the transition or this tween is completed playing by adding an event listener to it. So let's firstly listen for when our page out transition is complete. So I'm going to say page transition out. Let's add an event listener to that, and the event we're listening for is when our motion finishes. So tween event motion finish. Let's go to a function called remove old page. So remember, this is an event listener, so we need to provide an event to the function that we're going to. So in this case, it's going to be E, and we'll just give it a generic event that we're going to supply. So a page transitions out, jumps over to this function, and in here, we're going to remove the old page. So let's cut out that comment and put it in here. Now, we've already done this code, if you remember, to remove the old page. If you scroll down a bit, over here, we're testing to see if a page is already loaded, and if it is, go ahead and remove it from our page holder. So we can just grab this code and cut it out of here and put it in up here. Nice and simple, because we've already done the coding. So once we remove the page, then we want to load in our new page. So let's grab this comment, cut it out, and put it in after we remove the old one. So here we want to load in which page our button clicked on, but we don't know what button was clicked down here in this function. So we're going to be a little bit more creative. So I'm going to type in load page here, and we'll come back to that. Just leave it blank for the moment. So when we click on our home button, we want to tell this function down here to load in the page that obviously we clicked the button on. So in order to get around that problem of not being able to access which button we clicked on down here, we're going to set up a private variable that we can set at any point in our code, and we can read back at any point in our code. So just like we did for our navlinks array, I'm going to set up a new private variable up here, which is only going to be accessible in this class. It's not going to be accessible on the stage. And we'll call this, it's going to be a string, and we'll call this navlink. Yeah, snavlink, that'll do. And this is going to be a string type of variable. So what we're going to do is down here where we click on our navigation button, instead of going ahead and loading the page, we're going to set our variable navlink to equal home. Likewise, we're going to set our snavlink over here to equal gallery, and our snavlink down here to equal contact. So now this snavlink gets populated with whatever button we click on. And because we've created a private variable added up here, we can access it in any function that we want, provided it's already been set, which it's going to be set before we get to this function down here where we load in our page. So instead of passing it a hard-coded value of home, gallery, or contact, we can pass in now our snavlink over here, and we know which page to load in because we've set it over here. So that's great. We've got our load page function, and that goes over here. It requests which page to load in, and then it ends up down here in the page loaded. So finally, we want to fade in our new page. So I'm going to cut out this comment over here. And after we add our page to our page holder, let's go ahead and fade it in, because this is as good a spot as any to fade in our page after it's already been loaded. We've already created the function. So let's actually grab this tween over here. I'm just going to copy that and paste it down here. We're going to call it page transition in, and it's going to be our page holder clip again. We're going to set its alpha property, but instead of starting off at 100%, it's going to start off at 0, which is invisible, and then go to 100% alpha, which is 1. We're going to do it over 1 second, and yes, we are going to use time-based instead of frame-based. So go ahead and save that, and let's see what we got by testing our work. Hopefully everything works. I'm going to click on the gallery page. See, our home page fades out, and our gallery fades in. Same with our contact. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, it's not too bad. So we've set up a transition, and it's fading out and then fading in. Now you're not limited to just fading out and fading in. You can get a bit more creative with it as well. I'm going to go back to my code, and over here in our transition out, instead of transitioning the alpha, I'm going to transition its X position. What I want to do is get our clip that loads in up here, and that takes up the whole stage, to actually move our page holder all the way up to here. So it looks like the page is sliding out. And then we'll do a little behind the scenes trickery, where once it gets to this point over here, the page holder gets to here, we're going to move it all the way back over to the left side of our stage, which I can't scroll at the moment, but this clip's going to end up all the way out here somewhere, and it's going to transition in the new page. So we're going to tween its X position. We're going to start at 0, which is up here in the top left corner of our stage, and then we're going to transition out all the way to whatever the width of our stage is. Now, a quick tip, you can go in here obviously and get the width of the stage, which is 950, but to be a bit more dynamic, instead of typing in 950 here, I'm going to type in stage.stage width, and that always gets our stage no matter how wide it is, instead of hard coding a value. So we're going to push our clip out from the 0 position to 950, and then once we're transitioning back in, we're going to start at a negative stage.stage width, so all the way to the far left hand side, however wide our stage is, and we're going to transition in to 0. And we're not alphaing, we're going to set the X position. So let's save that and test, and let's see what a new transition we got. So that's pretty cool. Home page slides in, click on gallery, slides out, we get a gallery page. So there's a quick way to set up a couple of transitions for your pages, which you've already done the code once. You can just change a couple of properties and basically really change up the way your page is going to look and interact with. So for the next tutorial, let's start getting some content into these pages. We'll probably start with the gallery page. We'll build up a little mini gallery, have like maybe 4 clips, and when you click on a clip, it shows up a larger version of that image, and we'll see where we go from there. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. As always, leave a comment if you enjoyed it, or if you have any tips or what you want to see next. By all means, leave them there. So thanks for watching. Catch you next time.